Howdy traders, welcome to the weekend wrap. We're going to go over the majors and then the exotics I like to trade, the yen, New Zealand, and Aussie crosses. It was a great week. Well, it wasn't a great week. It was an interesting week because we had volatility finally come back into the market on Wednesday, and it looks like we have a little bit of a continuation of that, and the summer doldrums are over on Thursday and Friday. What we have to keep in mind with the FOMC, they kept everything on hold, so we had a push higher in the dollar. Now we have to wonder if it's going to be one of those buy the rumors, sell the news kind of situations, or maybe we're going to get a sell-off of the dollar now, or are we going to continue in the current trends and continue to push higher with dollar weaknesses? We will have to tell. I would favor a little bit of profit taking here at least, and a little bit of dollar strength in the short term, but I don't know. That was just a hypothesis I've created, and what I'm going to have to watch is the price action to see what actually occurs before I'll jump into anything. Let's start off right here, right now, with the Euro USD. As we all know, the pair had been in this pretty narrow range between 127.50 and 134.50 for what seems like eternity, basically the entire year. And then it narrowed even further between 131 and 134.50. Popped out of it on Wednesday, and now we're up into this new range between the 134.50 and the 137, and you can see that's basically just from last February. We can see it had that spike high towards the 137 level, and now as long as we're above this 134.50 area, it favors a continued push higher, and up towards 137. We're going to have to get a break of this 134.50 level to have the momentum broken, and we could see a push back down lower. So that's what you need to key in on into the new week, is the 134.50 level, and let that be your tell. If we get down here, we could definitely see a battle, and we could maybe see a little false breaks this way, until we get a push one way or the other. But if we do continue to just get the momentum higher, we could see a slow grind up towards the 137 in the short term. The Great Britain USD, I mean, it's the same story. You can see this pair has been riding a trend line higher all the way from the bottom of its range, where it looked like we were going to get a break, 148.30 all the way past the 157.50 level, and then ultimately that 158.80 level that we were watching, and it popped higher above that, and it firmly higher. But there has definitely been profit taking in this pair, but it's hit key resistance at this 160 level. And if we look at the 160 level, you can see that the pair rested on it right in this zone and in this zone. So it is a psychologically significant level, and it has some buyers that are lined up at that point. So we'll have to watch, though. I mean, the only place we're going to hit real resistance, real support, though, is this 158.80 level and then this ascending trend line. If we break the 158.80 level and the ascending trend line, then game's off, and we could see a move back down lower. But when we get to this 158.80, you're going to watch to see if we have buyers come in. If we have buyers come in, we can see a push back up to 163. We could see something like that. But if we get a break, then we could be on the way down. But I would expect that maybe this could continue down to at least that level with profit taking in the short term. The Aussie finally this week broke this downward trend by pushing above the 93.60 level, and now we're just looking, as long as the pair is above this 93.60 level, is it going to get any momo and keep going back up? It looks to be stuck in a really narrow range, and we'll have to see. If we get back below the 93.60 level, then game's on. We can go back down to the level above. We can continue to push higher. I mean, you can see we have a recurring theme here, because all these pairs broke out of major trends, major consolidation levels last week, and we'll have to see. But I mean, it's not a sure thing, because let's go back to looking at New Zealand USD. We can go back and we can see right here the pair had been in this consolidation range with the top about 85.30 for months. And then we had that spike higher, and it looked like, oh, here we go, we're going to get our break higher. We did get up to 86.80, and then the pair just continued to go down. So you're never sure on these false breakouts, and you have to be careful before you load the boats, especially on a move that's been so straight up as this. It looks like profit taking should be in the cards, and we could get a push back at least to the 81.60 or maybe even 50 fib. The New Zealand crossed right in the middle of the range, so you just have to watch yourself in this one. I would stay away unless you get a push down to this trend line, and if you want to, you could look for a bounce back up higher in that cross. The yen pair is still just kind of in a wedge between 101.50 and this ascending trend line, and on top of that we have another trend line. The pair is basically just very comfortable where it is between the 100 level and around the 100 level, and we're going to need a break, a push one way or the other to get things going in not just the yen pair but the euro JPY and Great Britain JPY. You can see the euro JPY broke above its range yesterday when we had a lot of yen pushes due to yields moving around after the FOMC, and you can see that pushed the pair above the 133.70, and it's just like everything else we said, above the 133.70. That's going to be your support right now, and we can look for a grind to continue higher. But if we break down below that, then we can see a push down to the trend line. So we have a lot of keys, a lot of pivots that are pretty self-evident right here. And now the Great Britain JPY moved all the way up to 160. Couldn't find the strength to break that range, and I don't think it's going to in the very short term. We could see a very short general drift down to 156.75. The yen pairs, same thing. We broke the bottom of the current range, not having much of a follow through. Could definitely see pullbacks. I mean, because the exaggeration, just like we talked about in the yen. In the New Zealand, U.S. New Zealand, the Euro New Zealand is the same thing. We can see that there's a break of these ranges, but we're not getting the follow through at the moment. So we could see a pullback in the short term. The Aussie pairs, which I did some trades in today, as long as the pair remains below, the Euro Aussie remains below 144.40, the odds of the trend continuing lower are pretty strong, and we could see a push down towards the 141.65 in the short term. But we have to be careful here because we are seeing strength at the moment, and we'll have to we could see a break back above that level. Nothing is as clear cut as it may seem at the current moment, because a lot of these pairs are sitting right at the ranges that they broke, or sitting where this is a perfect example where the Euro Oz broke down, but the Great Britain Oz did not. So there's still a little bit of non-clarity. I mean, it favors a continued dollar weakness, but after those runs, I would expect a pullback. And if you look at this in the Euro Oz, it looks like we definitely have a triangle forming there that we could see a breakup in the short term. That is the quick rundown of what's going on. If you guys want to jump in to see the trades that I do on a daily basis, it's mostly it's between 4 a.m. and basically 4 p.m. North American time. I do a lot of breakout trading in the New Zealand yen and Aussie crosses, and then some short-term scalping in the Euro JPY. Has been pretty profitable so far this year. And if you guys want to see the Currency Watch video that I produce every day, sign up now so you can get going for next week. Other than that, everybody have a great weekend. And all these charts I showed you are on the blog. Just look at charts in play, or you can go on the individual side, on the column on the side, and each one, Euro Oz, Great Britain Oz, Euro USD. You just click on it and the charts will pop up and you can see it in more detail right there in front of you. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. See you next week.